What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Wednesday, June the 2nd. Fished over the weekend a little bit. Tried to avoid the craziness as much as possible because it was kind of crazy. But bites changing a little bit. Water has come back up, so we'll get into all that. As far as our lake level, we are at 920.9 basically right now, which puts us almost 4 feet above normal summer pool. So definitely got some fresh water in the bushes. We've got some fish moving up shallow. Water is still coming up. It looks like the core probably won't stabilize until I believe this Saturday or Sunday is when they say it's going to quit rising. So we do have rising water. It's going to top out around 921.5, so about 4.5 feet high. Beaver's still, I don't know, 7-8 feet high. Bull Shoals is 25 feet high. All the lakes are coming up, so we're going to have high water for a little while, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It does position the fish a little bit differently than how we normally see them. Water temperature, you know, I was out this morning, I'm at Baxter. Mostly I've been seeing anywhere from about 68 to about 73. We find some dirtier water. It is a little bit cooler this morning because there's no sunshine, but I'm sure, you know, tomorrow, next couple of days, it's supposed to be sunny, so that water temperature is going to warm out. So we're right around 70 degrees all over the place, so not a whole lot of changes. But with all these changes happening, everything changing basically daily on the fishing, the best way to stay on top of that is, of course, become a pro member of Table Rock Fishing Intel. Get those daily reports, weekly reports, all the feature videos, all the stuff that we've got going on. Got a feature video coming out for another jewel shaky head this week. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Definitely want to become a pro member, spend that 45 bucks, and then you get all the detailed information on a daily basis. Can log in and see it from your phone or from your home, wherever. Get the information you need to know where the fish are, know what they're doing, at least have a head start before you go to the lake. But if you're coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I got to be honest, guys, I'm going to try not to fish the lower end a whole lot for a while. Not exactly sure what's happened to the lower end, but it is extremely tough. I've actually even talked to some of the guides that guide exclusively out of Big Cedar because that's basically where they live, and it's just tough down there. It's just been really, really tough. The fish are not biting as well as they should. They're not biting as well as they are on other parts of the lake. I can tell you what we have been catching them on. You can catch them on a surge shad first thing in the morning, or a spook or whopper plop or whatever you like to throw on top water, mostly around bigger boat docks, the ends of the docks and down the sides of the docks. If it's a sunny day, that bite lasts for maybe 30 to 40 minutes and then it's over. From there, we've been catching them on a Kitech swim bait a little bit, you know, 2.8 on a Jewel Gem Shad 2.0. Most of those fish are going to be on gravel flats, both main lake and back in the creeks. Mostly smallmouth, a few spots mixed in, and the occasional largemouth, but not very many. And those fish, they'll stay up there in 8 to about 15 foot of water until the sun gets high. And then once the sun gets high, we're switching up and we're dragging either a Jack and Jaws puke tube, or a Jewel squirrel head, or pro shaky head with a finesse worm, or Ned rig. That's basically your bites you've got going right now. And those fish are going to be, gosh, 12 to 20, even 25 foot deep. Have talked to a few guys down there that have been putting a couple of fish a day in the boat on a drop shot rig, so don't know. This high water may change things up down there. Haven't been down there since the water came up this much, but I can tell you last week I fished 2 trips down there and it was tough. It was definitely tough on the lower end. Going to Kimberling City area, the bite is much, much better. It's amazing just how going 10 miles up the lake, what a difference it can make. Catch them on a topwater first thing in the morning, surge shad, spook, whopper plopper, popper, whatever you want to throw. Again, those fish are around some sort of cover. They're either around boat docks or they are around trees. That seems to be where those fish are hanging out. There was a little bit of a shad spawn when I was up that way on Saturday, first thing in the morning, so they were holding close to those docks where the shad were spawning. But you know, a topwater bite right off the morning. If it's a sunny day, that bite will last about 45 minutes to an hour. You kind of chase the shade and maybe catch a few more. After that's over, the swim bait bite's working. Using the Kitech 2.8 on a Jewel Gem Shad 2.0 has definitely been a key player down there on those gravel flats. The fish are shallower. If it's cloudy like it is today, those fish will be right outside the bushes, some of them back in the bushes. So keep that in mind as well. If it's sunny, they'll back out. They'll be anywhere from about 10 to about 15 foot deep on that swim bait, but you want to fish the flattest gravel you can find. Fish from the bushes out. And then we're also catching them on a Jack and Jaws tube. We're catching them on a shaky head, either the squirrel head or the pro spider or the pro shaky head. And we are catching them on a Ned rig as well, but it's the flattest gravel you can find. That's where you're going to want to fish. Wherever the flat gravel is, that's where you're going to find the fish right now. Come up or go up into the James. Great flip and bite up in the James. There's a really, really good flip and bite up in the James right now. Catching a lot of fish, pitching to these bushes. A lot of fish coming basically in the bushes, just outside the bushes, some of them even behind the bushes with this water coming up. I've been pitching either a Jewel Pro spider jig with the medium-sized Versacrawl on it. I've been pitching just a Texas rigged worm, a Texas rigged beaver, that sort of thing. A lot of fish coming out of bushes up there. There is a decent topwater bite up there as well, on a surge shad, on the spook, on the whopper plopper, whatever you want to throw as a topwater, keep that in mind. And then there's a buzzbait bite up there. I threw a buzzbait here at Baxter this morning, but over the weekend I threw a buzzbait up with this water coming up around those bushes. The key to that buzzbait bite really seems to be, for me, is not necessarily picking fish off of the bushes. I'm looking for individual trees mixed within those bushes where there's a little bit of a clearing around the bushes. It seems like those fish are gravitating to the trees, not necessarily the bushes. So I've been catching them pretty good on a buzzbait around the trees back in the bushes as well, up the James. Come up here in the white where I am today. Topwater bite is good first thing in the morning. You get a cloudy day like this, it'll hang on a little bit longer, but first thing in the morning, catching them on a surge shad, catching them on a spook, catching them on a plopper, catching them on a popper, whatever you want to throw. Just like everywhere else, the fish like to be around some sort of cover, whether it's a boat dock or a tree or a brush pile or something. That really seems to make a difference on where these fish are at. So keep that in mind. Catching them on a buzzbait up here, like I said. I was throwing a buzzbait. I think my first 4 casts I got bit on a buzzbait today. Landed 3 of them and lost a really good one on it, but caught a lot of fish on a buzzbait up here. Most of them, again, they're not necessarily in the bushes. They're in those clear areas where there's a tree or something. Then they're gravitating to the trees. I mean, I threw at a bunch of bushes today and only had 1 or 2 blow-ups around the bushes. But man, when I would get back in there almost to the bank and be able to bring it by a tree, it made all the difference in the world. So keep that in mind. Again, everything's on flat gravel right now that I'm catching. Definitely can catch them on dragon baits, Jack and Jaws tube, Jewel Pro shaky head, Jewel squirrel head, and an Ned rig. Catch them on all those things on this flat gravel and basically throw it right to the bushes. There's a little bit of color up here. Throw it to the bushes, work it back out. I've been keeping the boat, the gravel's so flat, I've been keeping the boat about 15 or 16 up here. Same with up the James, and throwing to the bushes and working it back. Most of the fish seem to be between that, I don't know, 6 or 7 foot out to about 8 or 10. They will back out a little bit more if it's sunny. They will get a little bit deeper and be out in about 12 to 15. But for the most part today, they were right up against the bushes, and some of them were in the bushes. Did a little bit of flipping up here with a Jewel Pro spider jig and with the Pro shaky head. Caught some fish flipping up here as well. Most of the fish I'm catching flipping are, again, they're not necessarily on the bushes. They're on clearing or trees or something else close to the bushes. I flipped a lot of bushes and didn't get a whole lot of bites, but when I would come to a tree, it seems like I could almost call my shot and pitch it up next to the tree and get bit, throwing either the Pro spider jig or the Pro shaky head with a Senko on it right up against the tree, and the fish would just grab it and swim off with it. Guys, it is the beginning of June. Summer's officially started after Memorial Day, and boat traffic's starting to kick in. Actually, even on a cloudy, crappy day like today, the boat traffic got a little silly about 10 o'clock. So keep that in mind if you're coming down. The boat traffic, especially on the weekend, if it's going to be sunny, is going to be crazy. So keep that in mind. But fish are biting, stuff's happening, things are changing, water's coming up. Best way to stay on top of it, again, join Table Rock Fishing Intel. get that pro membership, get those daily, weekly updates so you know what's going on, know before you go. But if you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Again, take a minute, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so, but thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.